down. And when I'm there, I'm like, well, I'm not coming back here for another week. So I stockpile on whatever I can find.
If you're pregnant and it's not one of ours, we're all going to have to go to therapy.
Welcome to the Beacon House Podcast, recorded live in Knoxville, Tennessee.
Listen, I'm so bored.
Don't worry about it. DC Comics insulated AT&T bought out ass is going to put comic books back in shops you can't go to starting April 28th.
That didn't help.
I almost just want to go back to quarantine now. I don't understand that.
Wait. It didn't help? You mean them saying on your public Twitter feed that they're going to publish more comics that you can't go to because your comic shops are closed?
Comic shops aren't closed.
Do you say comic sharts?
Sharts.
Yeah, comic shops aren't closed.
Ooh, I had a comic shart one time. I shared it with all my friends.
What is a comic shart? Would that be like a comical shart?
Yeah.
A comic shart is Marvel Comics the last 5 years.
I feel like a comic shart would be a shart that you did on the backdrop of a brick wall after telling an Ovaltine joke.
Well, when you have
let's
teal and fuchsia colored non-binary superhero known as Snowflake in Save Space.
Let's go back to the Ovaltine remark and kind of let that sink in a little bit. That was one of the most imaginative things you've ever said. Anyway, folks, welcome to the Beacon House Podcast.
Bam, 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 bam.
Recorded live in Knoxville, Tennessee.
We're all going crazy.
Yeah, we're 6 feet apart right now, just so everybody can relax.
This is 6 feet apart. Speaking from like men's terms, no. This is 8 inches
from the back of.
Yeah. 7.5.
Don't worry, baby. It's big enough
for a white guy.
Oh, yeah. I think I'm starting to lose my mind.
What is your how's life? Gentlemen?
I forgot it was
Sunday.
We
haven't seen each other in a while. We did a Skype.
2 weeks.
Not a Skype, but a Zoom podcast. Same thing.
Talked about the Tiger King, which I watched the 8th episode and it was bullshit.
I didn't watch it.
It wasn't good. Don't.
I will tell you what is good is David Spade has done a series of interviews with all the cast members, and I think you can watch it on YouTube. Those are fucking fantastic.
Really?
Especially the director guy who didn't like Joe Exotic, who was running the video lab,
Yeah. I think he's the one that burnt down that thing.
It could be.
The director.
The producer, because he was like, I used to be a coke addict. That's what cokeheads do. They burn down buildings.
I don't know, but it's
kill
funny.
Alligators.
So he interviews a bunch of the people David Spade does, and he just asks them the questions you want them to be asked. So that's pretty good.
Yeah, the 8th episode is just Joel McHale doing that exact same thing.
Oh, okay, I haven't seen it yet, but
don't waste your time. However, I did watch The Sinner, the first season of The Sinner.
Jessica Biel?
Yes, and Bill Pullman, using the Netflix chat party app with our good friend Frying Pan.
Shout out Frying Pan.
It's actually kind of neat.
I've heard The Sinner was phenomenal.
The Sinner was great, but I mean like the Netflix chat party.
Oh yeah?
There's just, the only problem is like we would hook up, like get into the chat party. She would hit play and it wouldn't start playing for me until like 30 seconds after. So I'd have to like see when she hit play and then hit play myself to make it just go in and start. So there's a weird buffering thing going on there.
I get it.
But once it starts going, it's good. So it's perfect for movies.
And you type your comments. You've got like a comment bar.
Yeah, there's a bar next to the full screen and it just fills it up in chat.
I get it.
It's neat. It's pretty neat.
It would, okay, so you're pretty much bound to watching it on your computer.
Yes, you have to do it on a computer because it's an extension of your desktop.
Let me ask this, and this is kind of like goes back to way back when we used to watch American Horror Story season 2, and shout out to our 100th episode guest Joe Ewer.
Yeah. I've heard legendary stories about your texts.
We were so fucking into American Horror Story season 2. We're like the nuns and the nurses and all that crazy.
Didn't that kind of end bullshit? Like, wasn't the ending to that season bullshit?
No, it was amazing.
I loved season 2.
Oh, okay.
I loved it. But like we were so fucked up over it that we would both make sure we were watching it at the same time and just text violently.
Same thing.
Back and forth. So this is would you, are there, okay. I'm so, I haven't been around people so much that I'm just like, I just want to talk to my friends.
Yeah. We need to do Zoom calls more.
We do. But is there the Netflix party thing? Is there any advantage to it over just watching a movie at the same time as your friend and texting?
No.
Okay. So just if you're, okay, I get it. I haven't tried
other
it.
than the fact that like if you wanted to watch it with a group of people, it'd be better to probably do Netflix chat party instead of having 6 people texting you on your phone going doo-doo, doo-doo, doo-doo every 6 minutes.
I get it. So like a group, like a big, if you, okay.
And do it with a movie, not a TV show. They have to like keep buffering the video every 30 to 45 minutes.
Do it with a movie.
Okay, that makes sense.
Find a really long movie like The Dirt and just
Gladiator.
let it go.
I get it. Speaking of that, have you seen any good quarantine movies?
I actually watched The Way Back again. I think I
I
posted
saw your
about
post
it.
about
I remember.
it. Yeah.
Listen, Sam Rockwell
I love him.
is so good. Steve Carell plays such a good douchey like mom's boyfriend character. It's just a great fucking movie. The Way Back. If you've not seen it, I highly recommend it. It's Nate Faxon. Oh shit! Hold on. It's one of the guys that used to be in a couple of the Broken Lizard movies. I think his name's Nate Faxon. And then you have the guy from Community, who also, they're like writers and directors of the movie. It's great.
I will definitely check it out. I don't know if you guys watched it, but I came across this very strange show called Tales from the Loop.
You were telling me about this. It's on Amazon Prime.
I don't know how to describe it. It's definitely in that same vein as like Black Mirror, Twilight Zone.
Love, Death, and Robots.
Kinda, yeah, but it's very like...
Is it connected?
No.
Oh, okay.
Oh, no, they're all connected.
All the episodes are connected.
They are, but they're also kind of stand on their own kind of stuff, you know?
Okay.
A lot of weird dilapidated robots and stuff, but
Yeah.
it's not an animated series. And it's based on a series of paintings by this artist called Simon Stahlenhag. And literally, taken straight from the description, it says, Tales from the Loop explores the mind-bending adventures of people who live above the Loop. And the Loop is like this experimental research facility underground where only certain people are allowed to go in this town, but everybody works there. And all this weird stuff, these weird artifacts appear like up in the forest, and the kids like find them and stuff. And there's one that's like this crazy, it's like a big metal sphere, and if you crawl inside of it, it'll change you into somebody else.
Huh.
And like if you're there with your friend, it'll change you into his body and back, and then you have to assume each other's lives. And it's weird stuff, and like these two boys do it, and then like stuff happens, and like it's really bizarre. But here's the thing: it's very also kind of like, I don't know, it's very emotionally like draining.
Yeah.
Like I watched a lot of it, and I was just like, oh,
So it's real sad.
kind of sad, but I don't really know how to describe. It's just it seems very I don't know.
Melancholy.
Yes, that's probably the best way to describe it. Kind of melancholy. It's not like a super sci-fi crazy like it does. It's not it's not the roller coaster of like Black Mirror.
Yeah.
It's very kind of like, but it has like a certain beauty to the whole thing, and I think you would really like it, Casey, because it's kind of a slow burn.
Perfect. Cinematography looks fantastic in it too.
That's the big thing. All the sets, every scene, everything is like designed to kind of give this guy, this painter, it's like an homage to him. So
Yeah.
every scene, even when they're just like walking at the street, the whole background is just like, it's stunning. And what you'll see is like this weird rural, it's almost like it's set in the 70s or the 60s or something.
Okay.
But yet there's like a satellite crashed. There's spaceships crashed in the background and stuff like that. So it's got this weird sci-fi.
It honestly
It looks
reminds
like
me.
77 to 83 Russia, kind of.
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
just looking at the paintings.
It's very postmodern kind of.
It kind of reminds me of that game that you were talking about to me called Generation Zero, where you play like a group of kids from the 80s and you're walking around this abandoned town and it's overtaken by robots.
I was talking about that?
You told me about that.
You did.
Oh, interesting. I don't remember it, but at any rate, it's worth watching. But I don't know. It's the kind of thing you might watch and go, "Oh, I fucking hated that," or you might watch it and go, "Whoa, that fucking really."
I don't know, man. I love Twilight Zone. I love Death and Robots, Black Mirror.
Outer Limits.
This is in that
limits.
vein, and the character performances are fantastic. So I would recommend Tales from the Loop, but it's hard. You won't be able to like binge it. I don't think. Like after a couple of them, you have to kind of sit back and go, "Ooh," like it'll emotionally. Drain
That's like
you.
Black Mirror for me. 1 to 2 episodes and done for
Yeah.
a few
Yeah,
days.
come back to it.
I think I keep saying this the entire quarantine. I've said this. I'm gonna watch Outsider with
Yeah.
Jason Bateman.
I've heard it's not good.
I've heard it's phenomenal.
I've heard it's phenomenal.
It looks phenomenal. I still want to watch it. I'm just like, I heard it's not good though. So.
Spectacular. I finally watched Dr. Sleep. Did I tell you that?
Yes.
I liked it a lot.
I loved it. I thought it was really good.
Supposedly very good. I still haven't seen that. I
Dr.
could
Sleep's
watch that.
super good.
I enjoy they go back to the
At the end,
Overlook.
yeah, something like that.
Man, I hear season 3 of Ozark is just everybody's raving about that. Is it?
It was. So anytime Ozark comes out, like me and my roommate sat down and watched the first season. It had been like out for a year. Watched the first season, bled through it in 10 hours, stayed up till 6 o'clock in the morning. Like a year and a half later, season 2 came out. We sat down and watched all 10 episodes.
Yep.
Season 3 came out, same thing. It's one of those shows that once you start watching it, you just got to burn through it because you're like, I got to know what happens.
See, I think that's where I messed up. I started watching the first season, then I took a break, and I just can't bring myself to go back.
You got to watch all of it. It's like a really long 10-hour movie.
Oof, man. I'll try.
You got the time.
I've been trying to stay busy. That's the weird thing about like this whole quarantine thing. Like, I've been working. I actually worked a lot more this week than I worked 6 days this week.
Damn.
A lot of really late nights. Again, I work at a place that delivers food, and we're getting busier than ever. With like people, I guess people finally kind of run out of, like they realized they weren't going to get technically quarantined. They can go to the store if they need something, but they don't have to. But they're, you know what I mean? Like I think people bought like shitloads of groceries and now they're kind of burning through them and they're tired of eating fucking potato sandwiches or whatever, you know? And so they're just kind of going back to their old eating habits. They're going to Taco Bell. They're ordering food, you know.
I'm ordering pizza tonight. I can't help it.
Let me ask this. One, I know you went to Che Guevara.
Yeah.
Because I went there a couple hours after you did. What did you get?
Well, what's funny is I got a quesadilla. My roommate got a quesadilla. We picked up chips and salsa, and then we thought we could order like just one taco, and it'd just be like a separate charge, but we accidentally ordered a third dish. So we got salmon tacos. Oh. And then I got chili con queso.
Oh, my God.
Like we just loaded up on Mexican food.
I went there and they had a special today, the same day, those steak, those carne asada tacos or whatever. Oh my God!
Yeah.
And then I ate so much that I made myself miserable. I overate.
Do they have the condi fries? I was too afraid to ask.
I think if you ask, it depends if they have the fries or not. I think you kind of go, hey, can you do condi fries? I go, yes or no. But if they can't, dude. Again, if you live in Knoxville, just go to Che Guevara.
Yeah,
it's insanely good. And if you can't get the Condoleezza fries or Condoleezza rice, depending if you're in the mood for fries or rice, fucking order the thing called the Aaron Mesa, and it's these huge stuffed peppers breaded with like corn chips, fried, and like, oh my God, it's probably better reheated than it is up front. It's insane.
Does it happen to be named after our good friend Aaron?
Named after our very good. I don't even want to acknowledge that I know her. The terrible person that I may have been associated with called Erin Catron. I'm kidding. I love her. But yes. And so they take good care of you. Dude, when we went there were people everywhere.
Yeah.
There were people all outside waiting on their orders to come out. And I talked to some of the people that work there, and they go, man, this is one of the slowest days we've had. They said normally there's a line of people going all the way down to like Barnes. If you don't know where Che Guevara is, it's up there next to Trader Joe's, where Toys R Us used to be. It's in the corner there. But they said people just line up down the sidewalk there. So let me ask you guys that. What do you think about there's this? It's so, I don't want to say it's funny, but there's like a lot of people that were like, stay home, don't go out. And they were real critical of like businesses trying to stay afloat. But I'm seeing a lot of those same people now that are like, support local business.
Oh, you mean the good old real heavy hitting downtown people who don't branch out from the old city and they just happen to have a lot of opinions about West Knoxville?
No, that's a culture. Downtown's a culture. He means fair weather individuals that happen to live there a lot.
I'm pretty sure that's the same thing.
I'm kidding, guys.
All I know, man, is like, dude,
they're very boisterous on Facebook, but then they also make fun of people being boisterous on Facebook.
Dude, there's just like, I've always been like, support local business, like even like be safe, but don't. Do you feel like there's this thing where nobody's talking about you can be safe? I feel like nobody's going, hey, you can be safe. Like you can wash your hands, you can sanitize, you can wear a mask,
and also go out. Like there's a gray zone between the two extremes that polarized a culture and a country.
Well, a lot of people who said like, how dare you be out?
I know exactly who you're talking about.
No. There's a whole. I'm not talking about any one person. I'm really not. There's a bunch of people. There's a whole bunch of people.
I don't know who either of them are talking about, but I'm enjoying the conversation.
We'll edit this out, but he's talking about.
No.
No. Who are you talking about?
I'm absolutely not talking.
Who the fuck are you talking about?
I think his posts are funny.
I do too.
I'm talking about the guy that you made a comment about, and then I saw it.
there are a lot of people that were very critical about businesses trying to remain open, and now they're like sending people to those businesses. I'm not trying to call anybody a hypocrite. I'm just saying it's tough to know what to do in this is like a weird new normal. What do you guys think?
It's weird because I want to.
That's exactly what I've done every time somebody asks me that question.
It's
just so you know, and people go, so like, what do you think? I go, ugh.
I don't know.
Who knows what the fuck to believe? You know,
I mean, I'm making like I'd say every 9 days, I end up having to go to Target for something, and I wear gloves. I don't wear a mask because I don't get close enough to people. Like if someone's walking towards me down the aisle, I turn around and go the other way. But I just have these weird, like, I think I'm pregnant because I have weird cravings, and I'm just like, I'm sitting at home and like, man, I want fucking ice cream. And so I go like drive down, and when I'm there, I'm like, well, I'm not coming back here for another week. So I stockpile on whatever I can find.
If you're pregnant and it's not one of ours, we're all going to have to go to therapy.
What?
It's definitely Jason's.
Oh, that kind of makes sense.
JT.
No, I feel pretty okay.
The Knoxville shadow.
I would wish you guys the best. Okay. I'd get over that pretty quick. No, but it's same thing too. Like, we were making some hand sanitizer, and I was out looking for aloe, and I went to a bunch of different stores, and I saw all different manner of things, like, some people were like keeping their distance and being careful, and I was trying to make sure not to touch anybody, or if somebody looked like they were going to get too close to me, I'd start moving away. And but some people clearly don't get it, and some people are really good about it, and you just don't know what you're going to get. Yeah.
But I mean, like, I want to go to restaurants. Like, here's my problem. Like, I went to Buddy's before coming here today to record.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I felt the biggest urge to wipe everything down with disinfectant before I ate it. But I was like, I can't do that. I can't just wipe this styrofoam down right now because there's nothing. First of all, there's nothing down here to wipe it down with. So I just washed my hands, opened it up, and went, there we go. I'm just going to have to, and that's the thing, like going to like Chick-fil-A or going to Chivo, or not Chivo, but like going to like different restaurants and bringing the food home. You're bringing containers that other people have touched into your house. And you have to go, well, this is aluminum. Does it hold on to viruses? Or this is like real like gloss finished cardboard. Do I need to worry about it being contaminated?
Yeah, and where does it end? Like I will say this: I've gone through some drive-throughs. I've been eating pretty irresponsibly since all this started.
Me too.
But part of it, I was like, you know what? Fuck it.
I've had Crystal 3 times.
But I think I have to. Surely I have. But that's one of the examples. Like I've got some Clorox wipes in the car, and I be sure to like when I take my card out. And I wipe it off the Clorox wipe, and I tell the guy at the window, hey, man, I just sanitized this, and he sees me wiping it off. And usually they go, oh, thanks. I give it to them. They usually have gloves on. They run the car, or they hand the machine out. Starbucks will hand the machine out the window, and you just stick your card in and take it out. They've got gloves and masks at Starbucks.
I need to start going to Starbucks more. I thought not they were all closed.
No, not the...
Some of them are, but not all.
And some of them have limited hours check. Okay. But at any rate... Like, I feel like, okay, but then I've got this Clorox wipe in my hand, and they hand me the bag, and I wipe the bag, which makes the card, the paper all mushy. But at what point are you sanitizing every fry? At what point are you wiping chemicals on the bun, and are you afraid to... You have to, at some point, just assume that cooked food is safe, I think. Or if you're afraid, just don't go to those places. I personally am not afraid to go to a drive-through window or to get takeout from somewhere.
I feel like they're taking precautions, and it's almost like driving a car. You have to assume they're taking the same precautions. Yeah,
I get it's kind of like you said. I remember we did a podcast a long time ago, Hunter, and you said something. You said at some point, every step you take is a leap of faith that the ground isn't going to give way beneath you.
Damn.
You said that shit. I don't know. That's how scared do you need to be? And that kind of plays into the whole when they start reopening things. Like, how do you safely reopen? Like, originally we thought this is going to be a couple weeks, and then everything will be back open. And then no, it's going to be a third week, a fourth week. Oh, it's going to be 6 weeks. Now it's going to be May.
Well, the problem with the reopening though is that not necessarily that it's a bad idea, but the way they go about it has to be super calculated. And I know they're worried about trying to figure that out, but at the end of the day, it's another ultimatum. But I find historically it's true, and right now it's proving to be true. When they eventually start to reopen stuff, it's going to hurt more than it's going to help. The night is darkest before the dawn and all that shit, because everyone is going to be sitting in the nest watching the one canary go down the mine, and then they're going to wait 2 weeks to see if it dies.
That was awesome.
That's exactly what's going to happen, though. And if it doesn't die, like 5 more will leave, and they'll go, those are the kind of brave ones. We're going to let them, because the first ones, they'll bring back its carcass. It just got stuck, is what it is.
So
like,
what you're
everyone's
telling me
afraid.
is, before we go outside, we just need to send you to the mall and walk around and wait 2 weeks.
Normally, yes, but World War Z proved that my disease actually makes me immune to world-ending cataclysms. So,
nice.
Yeah. I'm not actually the canary.
So you're a
anymore.
Twinkie.
Either that or a cockroach. You got to decide.
Or like a weird combination of both. I would go with that. Well, no, and I'm all like, again, because I've been working. I'm still working at a restaurant. I'm working every single day or whatever, and we're seeing people come in and out, and we're sanitizing and we're being safe. And
I don't know why we can't just eliminate a few more freedoms to be safer. Like, why can't we pass something like a Patriot Act or whatever you'd have to call it, but just so that the government can tell us what to do and what not to do, and we don't have to worry about it anymore, and we're all safe, because if they say it's fine, then it's fine.
Well, it's definitely
Right?
not. There's starting to there's a big divide now. A lot of people are starting to protest everything being closed. And
Yeah,
they're
down
saying-
by West Town Mall. Did you see that coming in or not?
I didn't see
There's a line of fucking people.
here in
like,
Knoxville.
dozens. I passed them on the way here. Dozens and dozens
I
and
didn't know
dozens
that.
wrapped around, not the entire mall, but wrapped around, like, from the Chick-fil-A side over in front of the sheriff's office with Land of the Free, Reopen Tennessee shit.
See, man, that's a slippery slope, dude. I agree
Yeah,
that
get out there and touch those people.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, I agree that you can't just keep the economy closed forever. Like, people are dying. You're losing way more lives. That's
Sure.
because
Sure.
nobody knows what to believe. Some people think the virus is a bioweapon. Some people think the virus is a hoax. Some people think the virus is super serious. Some people think it's not even safe to open your door and go out on your porch to get sunlight. So there's a spectrum of beliefs about this thing, and I'm not going to chime in. I'm not even sure which one I believe, because you look at the sources, all these different sources. There's one guy that's a virologist, that German dude that said that the longer they keep everything closed, it's just going to make it worse, that we have to build up a herd immunity, and every single virus we've ever dealt with, from the Spanish flu up to SARS, up to the common cold, has worked like that. And you got to put kids back in schools. They have very low symptoms, and they build the immunity up. And you're not going to keep people from getting it just by keeping them in the house. As soon as they come out of the house, they're all going to get it, no matter what you do. And then you have people that say the stay-at-home orders and the closing of businesses was just to make it easier for the hospitals to take it. And now hospitals, at least around here, are 60% empty, and nurses are actually getting laid off and sent home because they have empty beds. So they're saying now it's time to reopen. Yeah, you're probably going to get more cases, but we're ready for it. We're ready to take care of these people. And then you've got people going, no, the minute you reopen, it's just going to get worse. It's going to spike. And then you got people going, some people in China are getting it for the second time. And then you've got people going, well, that's because it's a bioweapon. And it was invented by the government. So there's a spectrum of philosophies and theories that it's hard to know who to really listen to and believe. But that's why early on in this thing, I said, well, numbers don't lie. So if we just look at numbers alone, around here, and I'm not saying that any life doesn't matter, but like out of about, the population of Knox County is, do you guys know how much it is?
No.
470,000. And 4 people have died of coronavirus. I'm not saying those 4 people didn't matter, but 3 of them were over 75, and 1 of them was over 45. And so the age range, this is straight from the local health department, all these numbers. The age range that has the most cases is 21 to 30. For whatever reason, but you can see
They're the ones that can get tested probably easier.
But you can go look all these numbers up, and it'll tell you how many cases, how many recovered cases, how many people have been tested, how many of them had it. I think we're around 200 active cases. 200 people got diagnosed with it in Knoxville, and 170 some have recovered. 4 have died, and there's 20-something active cases. Most are expected to recover. Not saying it doesn't matter. And we have a friend, shout out, Anthony Campbell, the guy that we've talked about on this podcast. We call him Knoxville's Phil Collins, drummer for Skankbanger, Boogie Nights, Stacked Actors, and many other acts. One of the people I admire most has COVID-19, and he's very vocal on Facebook about, this is not a joke, this is serious, take this shit seriously, don't reopen everything yet. Like, let me tell you, he says it's bad. He's been very, very sick for like a month.
Yeah.
So, man, I'm trying to kind of listen to everything from everywhere and just kind of put it all together for something that makes sense to me.
Now, I did hear this, and I read this in an article that, because you had talked to me about how some people had heart attacks and strokes, and they said it was due to the virus.
Well, I heard
You
that.
heard that.
I heard the doctor talking to Joe Rogan about that, about how it's creating all these other things. And
here's what I found interesting is you can look up public records like that, like hospital deaths and things like that, and what they died from. Some hospitals, and I believe it was a Huffington Post article, so you got to bear with me, or BBC. But the article was stating that some hospitals, people were coming in with like heart failure, and they died of heart failure. They didn't have COVID-19, but the hospital put them down as a death of COVID-19 to raise their numbers up to get better funding to help combat other cases of actual COVID-19.
yeah, and a lot of people have been outspoken about that, about saying that people are dying from other things, and they're calling it COVID-19. Like I saw somebody post a meme, and it was a picture of a car accident. Like these two cars mangled up, and they go, the victims of this accident were suspected of dying of COVID-19. And it was obvious that it was an accident, you know? So again, who knows? Who knows how the reporting works? You know, like, I don't know. I mean, I saw a statistic where, again, I'm not trying to minimize it, but the question of like, what's actually going on? There's something about this whole thing that just feels weird. You know, like as of
Fishy.
Yeah, recently there were 35,000 deaths of COVID-19. Is that worldwide? I think that's worldwide. Or is that in the U.S.?
No, that's probably U.S. Worldwide is up to 2.2.
Let me look here and see.
No, that's cases. Jesus Christ.
This is worldmeters.info. But at any plate, there were 35,000 cases of COVID-19 deaths, rather. Sorry, edit. 35,000 deaths of COVID-19. And you compare that to, in the same time span, this isn't like over 10 years versus 3 months, the same time span, 119,000 deaths to the flu, 612,000 deaths related to alcohol, 1,200,000 deaths related to smoking, 2 million to cancer, 3,200,000 of communicable diseases that are not COVID-19, so other diseases, 411,000 of HIV.
Wasn't it last year that 1.6 million people died from tuberculosis?
In 2017, 1.6 million people died from tuberculosis. Now, what do you do with all these numbers?
Nothing.
Yeah, that's the thing. That none of this. I wouldn't take any of this to our friend Andy Campbell and go, "Hey, man, you should feel better because, you know, no matter how you feel today, 1.6 million people died of tuberculosis." And like,
but you also have to. And I'm not saying anything about people who have it. But at some point, having an illness or a virus is partially mental. There's a mental state to it. Like if you can, might not want to leave this in. I feel like if you were to get sick and lean into it that you're sick, you're not going to get better quicker. But if you were to try to like think positive, not lean into it. And I'm not saying like you get a cold and go, I don't want it. And then the cold goes away. But I feel like if you were to keep your endorphins and dopamine going in some fashion, in some way, that's got to help.
Well, there's some truth to that. Like somebody's probably going to hear that and go, "Wow, you understand? I just need to have a better attitude about the thing that's killing me." You know, I know that's not what Casey's saying, but there is a certain truth to like, just again, your attitude about anything is your lens by which you experience the world. You know, like I'm not saying again, we're not saying if you're sick, just man up and get over it. But I'm saying like, I remember when I used to get sick, one of the first things I would do is go get a lot of coffee, a lot of strong coffee. Not because medicinally, I mean, it's got antioxidants, but the caffeine would just pep me up and make me feel better.
Yeah.
And it was just easier to weather it by just kind of generally feeling better. Whatever it is that, you know, you do.
Well, I just feel like when I'm sick, I feel worse when I lay in bed. But if I get up, take a shower, and go outside, I still feel bad, but I don't feel as bad. And then later on that day, like if I have a bad cold or a sinus infection, I go to work. I understand a cold and a sinus infection is nothing like having this virus. I get that. However, going to work and then coming home, I felt worse when I'd wake up in the morning after sleeping all night than I did when I was working.
Well, like they say most of the time, if you tweak your back, like if you get something out of whack in your back, like your lower back goes out or something like that, one of the worst things you can do is stay still. They stay in motion. It'll heal way better if you're moving around, not laying flat on it. That's one of the worst things you can do. So there is a truth to that somewhere. And since we're looking at, talking about numbers and things, and they're losing way more people due to everything being closed and the economic collapse. and the unemployment. And I know that we kind of talked about this, and I think you made a very good point, Casey, where we said, well, suicides are spiking, and they always do in times of unemployment for whatever reason. If people just feel like they don't have a way out or whatever, but overdoses. People who've been in treatment, now they're not able to go get treatment, and so people are overdosing. So there's other kinds of deaths that are happening because of the shutdown, way more than are dying from the virus. And so, we kind of made that thing where if you're saying that you're only interested in saving lives, at some point you're losing way more by keeping everything closed than by, do you get what I'm saying? And so you're going to have to open things back up to save people, not to protect them, so there's a big decision. That's people way above me. The fucking mayor, the governor, people like that have to decide that shit.
Say, protesting, probably not going to help.
Yeah, dude. And
you're going to make a lot of people higher up dig their heels in.
I got to say, man, I don't know if I would be. I side with our Lord and Savior, Glenn Jacobs. I side with him. I think I agree with his videos. He put one out recently talking about how we have flattened the curve. We've kept everything. He was, the governor. He fucking worked with that guy, and their hospitals are half full. They've got plenty of masks now. They've got tons of ventilators. They're ready to take this thing on. If it spikes a little bit, it's time to start opening things back up and shave some of those deaths off and some of this horrible economic hardship. He talked about how a market economy, you can't just turn it off and on. Yeah. It's so complicated how many things rely on other little things, and it's just insanity to get this thing back in motion is going to take a lot. Even when people go back to work, there's not going to be the business that was there when they left. So they're going to go back to work and still not be making all that money they were hoping. It's just messy. But I don't know that I would be protesting. If that many people that are sick and that many people who have died from this, or that many people that are scared, I just don't know that I would be out on a street corner right now with a sign.
In Michigan, the Operation Gridlock was the dumbest thing I think I've ever seen in my lifetime.
What is that? I didn't hear about this.
They blocked all the roads, especially in front of a hospital, so ambulances couldn't get to the hospital. They parked their cars. It took an ambulance 10 minutes on an emergency run to get into the parking lot of a hospital because people had to move because they blocked this long stretch of road in front of the Capitol because the governor there, she apparently is a choice for Joe Biden's pick for vice president, and the Trump supporters came out in droves. Have you seen that picture? There's a picture. There's a picture going around of Trump supporters in Ohio at a door, and everyone's making fun of it because it looks like a zombie movie poster. It's just Trump supporters, all their mouths are open, they're screaming and angry, and they're just in front of this big glass door, and they can't get in, and they're all just banging on the door and shit.
Jesus.
It looks so absurd.
This whole thing, Jesus, man. I don't know. I don't know. I'll tell you, I'll say a couple.
I see a picture of someone holding a protest sign backwards.
This is just a weird time to be. And I'm like a libertarian guy. I traditionally don't trust the government, or most of the government anyway. And I am all for, I'm a conspiracy theorist, at heart, on some level. And so I'm one of the first demographic of guys that should be feeling suspicious about this virus, or maybe considering that it's a bioweapon or a hoax, or what they're doing, the control of the economy and all that. But man, just it's even hard for me to
show it to me, case
that's the picture.
Jesus Christ.
It's ridiculous. It's even hard for me
That's
to go.
also not the protest that's legally protected by the Constitution. That is violent and riot inciting.
Yeah, man. I don't know.
If you're up at somebody's door screaming spittle, to the point where no one can come in or out, you're not peacefully protesting. You're not gathered peacefully. The people at Westtown Mall are. They're just holding their signs like it's WWE.
Let me ask you this. And this probably, by this point, it probably doesn't matter, but were they 6 feet apart? Were they social distancing?
No.
They're not.
But these people don't care about that. They were all up each other's asses.
They all think the 5G towers are giving us radiation poisoning, and that's why we're sick. Alex Jones out there eating chili for getting his kids named.
Guys, who cares if the frogs are gay? Get over it. The frogs can get married now. It's fine.
The world has gotten so weird.
I heard Dak Shepard and Kristen Bell weren't going to get married till the frogs could get married.
Guys, even when I'm being a salty bitch about it, here at Beacon House, I want you to know I'm glad everyone has a microphone and an opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do appreciate everyone's right to voice their opinion. I'm just not sure how valid a lot of them are.
All I know,
including mine. Like, it's so hard to know what to believe during all this. I will say one thing for everybody out there.
I feel like I'm always right.
We're an entertainment source. Please don't come to us for information.
There was somebody who is an expert. She's frequently on Rogan, Dr. Rhonda Patrick. She actually,
her episodes are always great.
They're incredible and they're mind-boggling because they're so informative. But she did put a thing out. She's apparently got a COVID-19 question and answer podcast or a video. So everybody go watch that. But she was talking about one of the main things affecting respiratory illness is vitamin D. And it has to do with things I'm not qualified to explain to you, like enzymes and things like that.
Are you telling me that sunlight's good for me?
Yeah, believe it or not. But she said one of the biggest dangers of this thing is people can still contract this thing, but they're not getting any sunlight, they're not getting vitamin D, and it can be real detrimental to us. So don't skimp on your vitamin D, folks. And I'm here to tell you, too, I still think it's a good idea to take zinc.
I take, that's funny because I have a vitamin D deficiency we discovered when I went to the diabetic doctor not too long ago, and they put me on supplements. But my daily cocktail, which I realized I forgot to take today, so I'm doing that when I get home, is two zinc pills, one anti-allergy, one vitamin D, one honkin' calcium pill.
Load up on some of that stuff and get some vitamin D. Maybe you'll be okay.
Get you some D.
You know what I really want? And this is going to sound bad of me. Actually, no, it's not. It's going to be right on par.
Get it, dude.
I want the protesters to get COVID-19.
I kind of do, too.
I just want them to get out there and be like, it's a hoax. And then somebody get it that they really love and they go, oh, it's not.
Yeah, I don't want anybody
shit.
Casey
I don't
doesn't
want
anyone to
from
die,
it.
but he wants them to get it.
It'd be funny if they got sick.
Spencer doesn't want anyone to die.
Well, if it really drives the point home.
Oh, Mike.
I don't know.
Well, someone on their deathbed with the Make America Great Again hat.
I will say...
No, it's pneumonia.
I will say this. These are weird times. Nobody really knows what's going on for sure. But no matter what you're doing, everybody be safe. Regardless of what this virus does, if you wash your hands enough and you sanitize everything enough, you can beat it.
Someone with a Feel the Burn shirt.
Holy crap.
Dude, how weird would it be to wear a Feel the Burn shirt and a Make America Great Again hat and then also get COVID-19?
You would pretty much be the internet walking around.
I feel like Alanis Morissette would follow you around and sing Ironic.
Just sanitize whatever it is you treasure.
It's like rain.
Wash your
on your
hands,
wedding day.
Wash your mouth. You
it's
best
a free
watch
ride.
out. Cause they're taking
when you're already
away.
late.
Taking freedom away.
I don't know any more lyrics to Alanis Morissette's song.
It's called the COVID Patriot Act.
Eat shit.
Oh my.